My name is John Vic, 35 years old, live in LA, currently in Chicago, and yeah, basically I go back and forth. Yeah, well, it's I just deal with like most guys don't talk about this, but I deal with sex addiction. Um, Basically, I'm addicted to women and porn and strip clubs. Well, yeah, it's as far as I can remember, I've always been really sexual, like probably most more than most people. I think I it was like 10 when I first started masturbating, and I mean I didn't even traditionally masturbate like the regular way, but because at that time, like you don't know like how to do it because you're so young, uh, but I think I was doing like the chopper way, the helicopter way, right? So I knew that something was there, and something really powerful, but I just couldn't explain it, and I didn't know how to do it properly, so that's why I had to do it like that. And I remember I was hanging with my friends, and we were talking about, you know, and that's when I told them, well, I already started doing this at 10, and everybody was confused, like surprised, like how? I mean, like that's impossible. Like why haven't we started doing it? So that's when I realized that I was like ahead of everybody else, and then 12, I had this girl that I really fell in love with, and that's when I discovered like how to do it properly, and I guess that was my first introduction to like the desire to want to have sex, with somebody. Well, no, well, no, no. Basically, you see, I come from Eastern Europe, from the Balkan states, where that region, Serbia, Europe. I mean, Serbia, Macedonia, Greece, Albania, Bosnia. That's like Eastern Europe, and so so I came here when I was 22, so 2010, and uh, back home, uh, there is no strip club, there is no such things like that. So well, so this is what happened. So like you growing up, right? And I mean I've been super sexual right throughout my puberty and my middle school and my high school and after high school, but back home we don't have strip clubs, and the only thing you have is like some prostitutes who which is highly illegal, and if you get caught you get in real trouble. So uh, so basically, you can do it, but make sure you do it really late at night, and do it in some really dangerous areas, and you're taking a risk. You're taking a huge risk. So you might get caught by the cops, and then you go to jail. So you're risking a lot. But uh, so basically, when I came here at 22, uh, my manager who I was working there, I mean, God bless his soul. This He was a really, really amazing guy. And, hopefully, when he watches this thing, he's gonna recognize me. But he took me to. That was my first time ever going to a strip club. Like, let alone like seeing how it is. for the first time. Man. So yeah, that was the night that changed everything because I realized, like, wow, you can pay somebody and you can feel like a king, like instead of just watching porn. And that's another thing. I started watching porn like really young, like probably like at 12, 13, and back then we had those CDs, DVDs. And then high school, it really peaked. And so, but then that's when I realized, summer 2010, when I realized you can go there, you can pay these girls, and just really feel like a king. So it's like all those Playboy fantasies and everything that was coming alive. So I really got hooked on that. I mean, it really changed my whole life. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's yeah, it's like I always say, uh, it's like a kid going to a chocolate factory. It's like you're in Candyland, and you're trying to get all the candy, right? Trying to taste all the chocolate. So for me, 22 years old, so it was just I'm in a presence of a goddess, and this goddess is really nice to me, and she really wanna treat me right and give me everything she ever has, and really wanna make me happy. And so yeah, I mean that's I grab and try to hold on to it as much as I can, So so yeah, it was really different from everything else, I've ever experienced. So, no, I mean there is no remorse. Um, you don't realize, for somebody that's super sexual like me, like I said, I've always been super sexual. And so somebody at that age, 22, like you don't realize what you're doing, right? So you're just so happy. You're like Pinocchio. Remember when Pinocchio uh, became real, and then he partied for a whole night, and then he became a wooden boy. He became a puppet, right? So basically, that was me. Picture me uh, that night, So you don't realize what you're doing and what's happening to you. But as far as remorse, no, I don't. Uh, I mean, as the years went by, as I've gotten older, like you realize that like you're not supposed to be doing this, like because the stigma of society, and the taboos, and the traditional values, right? So basically, people tell you, oh, why don't you just get a girlfriend, And I mean, I had a coworker. I mean, I'm not gonna name her, but I told her one day, because I was just so in the moment. I was just so living in the moment, and I told her, like, oh, I just went to a strip club last night. I had a great time, and I remember she just looked at me. She was like, why don't you just get a girlfriend, And I said, well, because you know, like a lot of things, I couldn't answer, but yeah, you see, because society tells you that you're not supposed to be going there because you're supposed to be doing the normal things like everybody else, so that thing is still looked down upon like a forbidden fruit, so and if you talk to guys, I don't know about you, but um, if you talk to guys, like they'll tell you like, man, why are you going to strip clubs, like what is wrong with you, like, and especially girls, I mean, don't ever tell them that. And I remember I was in my acting school, because I'm an actor too, right? So I was in my acting school, and somehow the word got out that I think this guy he had a friend visiting, right? And he said, man, where should I take my friend out, And I said, well, dude, why don't you just why don't you just come with me to the strip club? I'll give you like free tickets and everything, right? And no, I think he saw my shirt. I had a shirt from the strip club because I was going to the strip club, and they give you a shirt, right? If you spend like let's say 100, 150, right? They give you a free shirt. So that's a really cool thing because it makes you feel, special, right? So, and I remember he said that, and I think he saw my shirt, and then he said, "Oh man, that's a strip club." I said, "Yeah, just bring your friend, and you don't have to pay anything. Just come with me, man. They'll treat you really nice. I go there all the time." And he was really cool, right? But then he told everybody, and next thing you know, I come to school, and everybody kind of like, "Oh man, that's the guy. He goes to strip clubs." And I remember feeling ashamed. It's like, oh man, this is not cool. But it's like, why is this a big deal? Like, I shouldn't be feel ashamed. It's like, I don't think anything wrong with me. I think you're making a big deal out of it for no reason. It's like I did something wrong, which I didn't, because in my eyes, I was just seeking my pleasures. So yeah, but that was a big deal, and kind of like they made me out to be like, oh, this guy is like different. So, but then that was like 2016. So towards my late 20s, right? So 30. But yeah, before my late 20s, yeah. So basically, you start having these thoughts every time you want to go there. It's like, oh man, I really don't want to go to this place because I shouldn't be doing this. So, you should have a girlfriend or like go to the club, like everybody else does, every other guy. Go to the bar, go to the club, talk to a girl, and dance, whatever, make out, and maybe you can possibly have sex with her. But yeah, but because I wasn't doing those things, I was just going solo, just being on my own and just doing my own thing, and nobody didn't even know what I was doing, right? So basically, every time I try to go there, it's like I'm having these thoughts right before I go there. I'm like, well, I don't think I should be doing this. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, I gotta go get the money out of the ATM, and like I know that I'm gonna spend money, and so I just started having guilty conscience. It's like, and then I realized, why am I feeling this way? It's like, you gotta go there, you're gonna have the best time of your life, but why are you hesitating? Why are you feeling guilty about it, right? So and then exactly like prove my point. I go there, I have the best time of my life, but then after that, it's like you realize, oh man, I spent so much money. It's just I should be doing like everybody else is doing. So, but yeah, and then a few years later, then I was really addicted. That's when my addiction peaked, like probably like around 2017, probably. Yeah. 2016, it was massive, but I kind of walked away from it, right? So, like I said, man, I really want to go somewhere where there's no women, and so, what they say, can be out of sight, out of mind, right? So, but I think 2017 really peaked, and then 2018 it was really heavy, and I was on a roll, right? I would just go there almost every day, I mean, not every day, but you get the point. And then late 2018 I met somebody, right? And then 2019 I kind of like, that person kind of like steered me in a different direction, and so I just stopped going there, right? But then how women are, they change, so once she changed her mind, and then I just went back to what I know best, so I just went back to my old ways, and so probably a couple months in 2019 I just stopped going there. But then the second half I just had to make up for it, because I spent a lot of time being out of it. So now I just had this like, oh man, I gotta like catch up to it, right? So but yeah, I was like still addicted, right? And but then this person was in my life, so I try to like, okay, well, I got her, I really feel something about her, so I don't have to be going there, so so yeah, I mean, and then spend time with her. But then, like I said, like women change their mind, and there were some days where she wasn't feeling it, so every time that was happening, I would just go find my happiness in some other places, so but yeah, man, I mean, that was 2019, and then 2020, it was, I was still doing it, at the beginning of the year, and but then the lockdown happened, and then the lockdown was especially really hard for me because the whole world changed, and you couldn't make contact with anybody. So this person was out of my life. She was somewhere else, like secluded. I mean, sequestered. So and I just all these places were closed. I couldn't go to these places. So I just started looking for help online. And but then I ran into a lot of scams, and so I realized that this is really hard, and it's not gonna happen. And so I really had I was really going through it, because my addiction was peaking, and there was nobody there for me, So all I had to do, all I had was porn, and it was, yeah, the first half of 2020 was just really bad, But then the second half, like this person came back, so she gave me hope, that she gave me some peace of mind, and um, yeah, like I mean, it has come to my attention recently. I didn't know how to explain it before, uh, but just hanging out with somebody that also was going through it, recently, because I think pretty much every guy deals with this thing, But they said that sex and women fix your mental health. So basically, my girl in 2020, the second half, she, thank God she came back, and she fixed my mental health, because I was really like desperate, because there was nowhere to go, there was nobody to turn to, and it was just everything was all on your phone, and you know how it is, because the lockdown was really bad for everybody. I couldn't meet anybody. It wasn't safe. Even if you meet somebody, you don't know what you're doing, and you feel scared. Oh, I'm gonna catch COVID. I might die. So that's why kind of like. But then, summer 2020, like things were opening up, and people were outside. So it was kind of like a little bit better, but then I had this person with me, so thank God she fulfilled all those things that I was desperately seeking. So yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I never occurred to me, because I never done therapy in my life, so um, I think I'll be really scared to sit down and talk to a therapist. Um, Although I remember this girl, and I'm not gonna name her, uh, but I met this girl. It was like a festival thing, right? So it was like 2019, right? The first half of 2019, and I said, well, I go to strip clubs, I'm a huge fan, and but I haven't been like 6 months, Um, and she said, "Oh wow, that's a lot." She kind of like was being sarcastic, right? So we laughed, but then she said, I bet you when you go there and you go home, you feel real empty." And I'll never forget that, because it's like I'm thinking, like, why did she say that? And it kind of scared me, like I felt like I was talking to a therapist, and I was like, wow. I mean, I wouldn't describe it like that, like go home empty, but like, I mean, the thing about strip clubs is it's not permanent, it's just, it's you have an experience with a girl, right? And then when it's over, right? She goes her way, you go your way, right? And then you go home, and then cool. Well, hopefully you're happy, But and then the next day is a new day, right? And then you gotta do whatever you're doing, right, in your life. But I mean, nobody said it was gonna be permanent, so a permanent thing is only a relationship, So I mean, but I mean, when she said empty, I mean, I don't know. I'm still confused about that because I don't know how to describe it. It's like you're having a great night and then you go home and then the next day it's just you feel like, oh, okay, I gotta go about my life. Like you know, usual, right? So, but I mean, I never actually try to get help, but I've realized that I think the only solution for it probably is to be in a really good relationship, like romantically and sexually, to really love each other and like to satisfy each other romantically and sexually. Uh, but besides that, if you can achieve that, because it's not easy, right? So I think I think because 2021 I was real busy and I just I just wasn't addicted like I was before. So, um, uh, but when you stay busy, you don't have time to think about it, and you just occupied with all these other things you're doing, right? So your mind is just trying to complete all these things that you're doing, right? So, uh, yeah, 2021 was really good because I wasn't addicted at all, right? So I really managed my addiction real good. And then 2022 last year was was so right. Uh, but uh, but this year I think is and porn is another thing, right? And like the more you watch porn, the more addicted you get, right? So it's just that's another addiction because people say it's bad for you, but I don't think it's bad for you because he puts a band-aid on a temporary band-aid on a wound, right? But I mean, anybody that tells you that they don't watch porn, it's a lie because you need it. Uh, you need it because you got all this testosterone. You just gotta get it out. Um, but this is what I realized this year that the more you watch porn, the more addicted you become, and that's sad because and that's when it becomes bad because he kind of like takes control over you. You're not controlling it; she's controlling you, right? So, so basically, and then another thing, people think that when you watch porn, that people think that you're gonna have the same sex with a person in your real life, but that's not the case because I never met anybody that that has sex like that because that's only on camera, because these girls are not that experienced, and even if they're experienced, they're not experienced to that degree. So to try to mimic that, like whatever you see on screen, to try to mimic with a girl that you meet in your life, I think it's gonna be challenging. So that's another thing. Porn addiction, I don't think I can manage it because unfortunately, is that the more you watch, the more addicted you become, and that's the sad part. But I guess that's how it is. And that's the price you pay for for seeking those pleasures in in that alternative. As far as the strip clubs, I think I'm pretty good at it because I've gotten down to like I go there every 2 months, so that's like 6 times out of the year, so that's not bad. I think um, women, it's I deal with this every day. I see girls everywhere, like pretty girls, like really pretty, and I get infatuated, and I'm trying to be with all of them, but it's like impossible. And So I think, but it's kind of like a weird thing, that I have. So I guess it is what it is, But yeah, I mean, man, it's. But you see, when you look at the world through this lens, right? So basically, it's hard, because you see a girl that you really like, that you're really attracted to, and your first thing is, oh, how do I make her mine, and how can I how can I get sexy with this girl, And so most people that they see a girl that they like and they try to get to know her, go the distance, it's just from A to Z, right? Me, I'm going from A to Z. I'm going to Z and then I'm going back. So it's kind of like reverse engineering, but but I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, since like 2010. So it's like, I've adopted this mindset, and I think it's hard to break out of it. But like, you should be able to meet the girl, get to know her, be excited about her. She's gonna be excited about you, and then get into a relationship. But you see, nowadays, because it's like we're so addicted, I think, with women everywhere. Like, if you live in a big city, with porn like at your fingertips, There's this is America. We got strip clubs, So especially in a big city, there's so many, and it's like, I mean, it's impossible not to be addicted, So it's like, at this point, you don't have time to go from A, B, C to Z, right? So you just go straight to Z, right? So I mean, it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but it's like I said, when you've been doing this for a long time, it's just difficult, So I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. I mean, as far as progress, I mean, I I like to think that I'm doing better, but I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I don't wanna say I'm doing better, but in reality, I don't know if I'm doing better. So I really don't know how to answer that. So, I mean, it's a beast, man. It's a beast. I wouldn't lie to you. It's a beast. It's a fucking beast. That's how I would describe it. So it's just, but the key is, I think, to recognize that you got a beast. There is a beast inside you, and you gotta control it. So you don't let the beast control you and take most of your life. Like, you know, be smart, and I mean, you're not gonna be able to fully control your beast, but to be able to, like, at least manage it. So it just, you do your best. Uh, uh, well, yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, uh, I I hope there is hope for me. I like to think that I'm not the only one. Um, well, hopefully things gonna get better. As I get older, and but yeah, I mean, this is yeah. All I can say is just, once you become addicted to something, it's just, it's like a rabbit hole. It's like you go down and it's like never ending, and you can't find a way back. So kind of like you get swallowed. So that's what happened to me. So that's what, I went deep down the rabbit hole, and like you see, like, I'm still can't come back. So but yeah, I think. I think basically, I hope there is a person for you waiting, and uh, you know uh, hopefully you find that person, or that person finds you, and maybe you can pick up all those needs and feelings that you have, and whatnot, and just channel towards this person, or that person can take all that energy that you have towards that and just focus on themselves, you know. If that makes sense, you know. It's just uh, I think we all need somebody, you know, and just you see when guys can't find that somebody, you know, for some reason, you know, that's where we tend to like, you know, like search for hunting, you know, basically you're just hunting, you know. So yeah, I think you know you're gonna get the closure once you find that person. And I'm sure you're gonna find that person. The person is waiting for you, and it's just a matter of time. You know. In the meantime, hopefully, you know, you don't let your addiction swallow you. So I think, but I think I would say the only hope is I think as you get older, it's like you start to see things differently. You know, and from a different point of view, right? So yeah, I think that will be the light at the end of the tunnel. Like you know, like just stay calm, you know, and it's gonna be okay. You know, whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, it's just yeah, you know.